Hi everyone. I just wanted to hop on real quick and do another video regarding expressions and idioms and slang that I see students struggling with because there are some words that just you don't come across, and when you do, you don't have a clue what they mean. So I was just watching a couple of documentaries and few of these expressions stayed in my mind and I wrote them down and I decided to explain what they mean and how you can use them because these words are kind of related to like news media reporting, business, public speaking. So I think it would be useful. Oops, sorry. I think it would be useful for you to know them. So I have a list here and I'm gonna go one by one basically. So the first one is initial report. So initial report is used in a public speaking sphere, also in business. When something happened, you need to make that first statement, that first conclusion about what happened. So it's usually after some change or some accident, or if in a company there has been some issues, then you have to kind of address the public. You make this initial report. Initial means something that happens in the beginning, and report, it's just like a statement that you make for public. The next one is get-go. I knew it from the get-go. Probably a lot of students would not guess what this means, but get and go don't go together, except in this case. This is an expression that we use for the beginning. It basically means beginning, from the get-go, from the beginning. Crossover, this is used in business vocabulary when there is a transition that has happened. Maybe some funds did a crossover, or a manager crossovered from one department to another. So it basically means to change your location. It can be used for people and things as well. Change your location from one place to another, so you cross over to the other side. And then aftermath. Aftermath is used, this is, I don't know if it's even English or maybe Latin or Greek. Aftermath basically means consequence. So this is something that happens after everything. It's what we are left with. It's usually after a disaster or after like a turbulent event. Again, it can be used in business and both business and public speaking. Save the day. So this is the expression that we use usually for people, but it can also be used for some things. So he came over and he just saved the day with his action. So this is somebody who manages to resolve a problem and that has been happening, or something resolves a problem. So it can be money, for example. A lot of money saved the day for us. Leading up to, leading up to is a construction that we use for things that happen before some other event. So usually you can see this in like news reporting. So for example, the events leading up to robbery. So it's a sequence of events that all happen before the main event, and it's usually used in that way. Then worst case scenario, this is usually used in news reporting. So this is an imaginary scenario, an imaginary thing that we think about in terms of like what could be worse than what already happened. So we usually, like when we report about hurricanes or like some natural disasters, we can say like the worst case scenario could be. So this is something that potentially can happen, but it doesn't have to. Ripple effect. Ripple effect, this is if you imagine like when ripples are occurring on the surface of the water. This is what happens again after the event, all the things that are related to the event and that kind of expand. So, for example, the ripple effect of Trump's presidency. So all of the things that kind of remain after he stopped being the president, but they're related to his actions and to the time of his presidency. Running on a treadmill. So this is basically a fast-paced situation, a fast-paced life. So I'm running on a treadmill this week. You can use this in business setting when you have a lot of obligations, a lot of things to do, and you're just constantly on the go. You're running, and we say running on a treadmill. Cacophony. Cacophony is actually a noise that is consisted of many different sounds that some are high, some are low, many different voices. So we hear this in media reporting and news reporting when there are a lot of people with their opinions and everybody is trying to say something about this situation. Now recently when this girl was missing in Utah, you had like thousands of people thinking that they know where she is and guessing. So we had a cacophony of opinions and statements about this thing. So it's usually a negative expression. So it's nothing good comes out of cacophony. We need to have like single voices heard. Back to business. I'm sure you already know this. So when something is starting and restarting again, so you can say, I had a little bit of a break, but I'm back to business. Hammered. Hammered is, it can be used as a slang. That means that you're kind of not feeling good, that you are kind of under pressure, or maybe like your head hurts, something bad happened, so you feel under the weather. This is another one, like you don't feel really good. You can say hammered as well. On board. On board basically means that you understand the situation. So I'm on board with this. I know what I'm supposed to do. So we also in business say or ask, is everybody on board with today's tasks? So just to check if there's some questions and that if everyone understood what they're supposed to do. Virtually. Virtually, of course, there is a term virtual reality. That means something that's not real, that exists in our minds. It's like artificial. But in everyday conversation, when we usually use virtually together with the word nothing. So virtually nothing. This means barely, almost nothing. Play a part. This is again a construction that we use in public speaking when somebody needs to pretend and they need to say something that maybe is not what they're feeling, but they still need to express that. So they're playing a part. For example, even if you don't feel like it, you just have to go and play a part for a certain situation. Overwhelming. Overwhelming is kind of when you're overwhelmed with emotions, there's too much of everything. It can be used for people, so people can be overwhelming, but when they're a little bit too much, when they talk too much or like they're dramatic, you can say that's overwhelming. But also a situation can be overwhelming with there's like too many things happening at the same time and you don't know what to focus on, so that you're overwhelmed. Next step, we're going to proceed to the next step. We're going to go to the next thing. We usually say next step. This is common. I think you probably know this. Take action. So this is used again in public speaking when somebody needs to step out and say something. They need to address something. They need to take action. So start doing. God complex. This is when somebody thinks that they know everything, and they think they're going to resolve the situation. Again, this is used in business and in media as well. Your boss can have a God complex. So they think that they don't listen to anyone. They think their decisions are the best. So they have a God complex. And then kickoff. is to basically start something from the beginning. So we're going to kick off this campaign. This is usually used in media. At the end, I just wanted to remind you that October is a Halloween month. So maybe I'm going to make like a Halloween themed video, because I don't have this on my channel, and I've never actually talked about Halloween, the history, the origin, like what is actually, why do we dress up and why do we have to scare somebody? But at the same time, I don't have a real experience of the beginning of fall, because it's been raining 2 weeks already. So I just want to see the yellow leaves and just like sunny fall, maybe like a little bit of a warm wind. That's how I imagine fall. This has not been great so far, so I'm not in this fall mood. But yeah, just think about what fall means for you. You can also, this can be a good exercise. We're going to talk about fall. It's a big change of the season. From the hot summer, you go into colder days, and there are different ingredients that we eat, different things that we put in our food. Everything smells differently. The colors are different. We dress appropriately for the season. So yeah, it can be a good exercise to think about, how do you, what is fall like in your country? Do you have that same palette of colors and smells and tastes? And yeah, that would be all. So I will see you soon in the next video. Maybe it's going to be a book review or a movie review. I have been watching a TV show that is #1 now in the world, which is crazy. It's a Korean TV show, Squid Game. Maybe I will talk about this TV show just because it's so thought-provoking. And if you're under a certain age, don't watch it. So it's only for the adults. I will see you soon in the next one. Bye.